Hello everyone and welcome back. So today I'm gonna show you how we can implement a router in React application. And here I have already generated create React app with npx. You can use this command right here. So let's run the app, say npm start. That's gonna be start the app development server with port 3000. And now we just have app because I have already removed couple file in here. And now we just have this app with h1. Okay, so now let's create a couple file in here, but I'm gonna put everything inside the components folder. So let's say home.js and signin.js. And let's say post.js. So in here, I want to generate functional pass component. I have already installed the ES7 React Redux GraphQL React native snippets. You can install this extension if you want. So in here, I can type in rafc and hit enter. Now we have functional pass component. So in here, I want to say h1. Let's say post, save, close, go to sign in, rafc, enter, and let's put h1 here, and let's say sign in, save, close, rafc, enter, h1, and home. Okay, so now let's bring in this file here, which is this three component, into the app component. So in here we can say import home. It's gonna be from /component/home. So let's copy and paste that a couple times, and this is going to be sign in, and this is going to be post. So let's bring in the component in here, and I'm going to wrap everything inside a React fragment like so. So now let's bring in the home, copy that a couple times. This is going to be sign in, and this is going to be post. Okay, if I save, now as you can see here, we have home, sign in, and post. But how if I want to, if I go to just / here, I want to just showing the home. If I go to, for example, sign in page, I want to just go to the sign in component. So if we want to working with router, we need to install the package, and the package name is, you can say yarn at react-router-dom. Okay, let's hit enter. Alright, so it's done. Now we need to import a couple things from the React Router DOM. So let's do in here. You can say import from React Router DOM. So inside in here, we need to import the browser router. We need to import switch and route. Okay. So if we want to use the route, we need to wrap entire our app with browser router. So you can just copy and put that in here. So now our everything inside this browser router is available to using this switch and route. Okay, so now let's bring in the switch here. And inside the switch, I want to use this route in here. Okay, so how does this work? And in here, route have a parameter called path. And the path is basically everything you type in here. If I say path /, it's going to be looking for here, /. Okay, if the path is /sign in, it's going to be slash sign in. It's like that. Okay. So now if a user go to the slash path slash, I want to returning component, and the component name it should be home. Okay, let's copy that. If user go to slash sign in, I want to render the sign in component. Okay, if user go to the post, I want to render the post component. Okay, that makes sense, right? So now as you can see, if I go to just / here, now we have home. Okay, this home right here is fire. That's cool. But if I go to / for example, post, hit enter, now we still get the home. Okay, we don't get the post. So what happened here? So what happened here is basically we starting from this / right? We know that JavaScript run from the top to bottom, right? And JavaScript running here, and hey, it's matched with this /, so the home is rendered. Okay. If we want to fix this problem, we need to put the / to very bottom. If I save, now we see post. Okay, so because this is the first match in here, if I go to sign in, now we have sign in. If I go to just / we have home. Okay, everything is work. But if I go to up here and I want to still render the home, if I go to the post, I want to still render the post, not the home. How do we do that? And in route, we have keyword called exact. If the exact is true, this home will be rendered with exactly just /. So now home is just available in the / path. So let's go to / and this home is just available in here. Okay. So we can do that as well in the sign in and the post. You can say exact. And before that, I just want to show you here. If I go to, for example, post /123, we still get the post. Okay, because it's matched this post right here. It's matched with this path. Okay, if I add exact here, save, now there's going to be blank because no path with this URL, right? So if I go to / post, we get a post. But if I go to 123, I want to showing something like 404 page not found in here. So let's create the component here. Let's say not found .js file, and in here rifc, hit enter, and I'm gonna say h1. Let's say 404 page not found. Okay, so if I save and bring in here, and let's copy and paste, this should be page not found. Oh, no, page not found, just not found. Wait, not found and not found. Okay, if a user go to the wrong URL that not available, we need to render the not found component. So in here we can say route, let's just say component set it equals to not found, and as you can see, now the component page not found is going to be rendered. Okay, it's going to be available in page that not cover in this page here. So for example, I go to 123 and it's going to be showing up. Okay, cool. So another thing that I'm going to show you is if user go to the wrong URL, for example 123 here, they cannot back to the home. But how that we can add, for example, link to make user can click and back to the home, for example. So in not found here, in not found component, I want to import link it's gonna be from React router DOM. So we can use the link in here. So you can just say link, let's just say back to home, and we need to specify the 2 into /. Okay, so if I save now, as you can see, we have the link in here. If I click, it's going to back to the home. And of course, we can use this link into, for example, Nav Bar. You can add the link in Nav Bar. It's going to go to another page. Okay. All right. So now, how about the Nav Bar? For example, you need to showing the Nav Bar for entire page, right? For this page, you want to showing the Nav Bar, sign in, post. So how do we showing the Nav Bar for entire page? Basically, we can put the Nav Bar outside the switch. But for now, I just want to say h1 and let's say Nav Bar. Okay, so now Nav Bar is going to be available to entire the component we have. For example, if I go to sign in, we still see the Nav Bar. Okay, let's add inline style in here just to make sure that this is Nav Bar, right? Say like blue, for example. Wait, like. Okay. So now if I go to the home, we get the Nav Bar. If I go to post, we get the Nav Bar as well. Okay, so cool. But how about the URL parameter? For example, here we have /post and /. For example, for each post we have a parameter called 1 or 2 or 3. Okay, so how do we do that? So in here, let's create a file here called, I'm gonna say post.js file. Let's say rrfc, hit enter, and in here I'm gonna say h1 for single post and save. Now we need to import the page, the post right here. Okay, and let's bring in here. So we need to create another route for /:id, and the component is should be post. Okay, single post. So if I save, now if I go to, for example, /1, no, 1, 2, 3, but anyway, 1, we get a post. Okay, if I go to 2, we get post 2, we go 4, we get a post. But how we get the parameter value? So let's go to post here, and we need to import use params should be uppercase P from React router DOM, and inside this post function we need to say const. I want to say just say params, so that equals to use params. Okay, we need to invoke this use param function. So in here, let's say console.log the params. Okay, so let's open the console, and as you can see here, we have object with ID 4. Okay, so we can destructuring here the ID, and of course we can showing the ID here. For example, we can say post ID, and let's bring in the ID here like so. So now if I save, we have post ID 4. Okay, because we put a 4 up here. If I say 1, 2, 3, we have post ID 1, 2, 3. Okay, if that random right here, we get the random right here. Okay, so far so good. So let's close this. So The next thing is I'm going to show you is how we can private the road. For example, we have component called dashboard. Let's create a dashboard here. Okay, this dashboard is just available if user log in. If user not log in, they cannot access this component here. So let's say h1, and I'm gonna say dashboard. Okay, so let's bring the dashboard in. I'm gonna close this. Let's bring in the dashboard in here. Let's say copy paste. This is going to be dashboard, and I'm going to bringing the dashboard in here. Let's copy and paste, and for example the road, let's say dashboard, and I'm going to put the dashboard in here, and yeah, let's try to save. And if I go to dashboard, see, we access the dashboard. But how about if I not log in, I cannot access the dashboard? So let's create another folder inside source. I'm gonna create a folder called roads. Roads. Okay, inside of roads, I'm gonna create a file called private road. All right. But before that, I just want to create a folder called Untitled in here, Untitled, and I'm gonna create a index.js file. Basically, in here, I'm gonna create a function that if I go to, for example, sign in, I'm gonna add a button here, and if I click the button, we can log in. Okay, and we are going to save the value into the local storage. All right, so let's create a function first in here. I'm gonna create a variable called, let's say, token underscore key, set it equals to, for example, JWT, and in here I'm going to export a function called, let's say, login, and set it equals to our function. And if user click the login function, I want to say local storage dot set item. I'm going to create the JWT and paste in value, and the value is going to be a login. Okay, and in here I'm going to create another function. Let's just say cons log out, set it equals to our function. And in here I'm going to say a local storage dot remove item, because we log out, we need to remove the token underscore key. And down here we need to check if user is logged in or not. You need to create a function here called is login, set that equals to arrow function. And inside in here I want to say if local storage dot get item, and the item name should be, let's say, token key, and I'm going to console.log local storage dot get item the token key. Okay, and I want to return false if user login, and I want to no if user login, we need to return true, right? We need to return true if user is login, else we need to return false. Okay, cool. So now let's go to the, where is my login? Not login, sign in. And in here I'm going to create button, and the button here, let's say, click to login, and if user click login, we need to run this on click event. On click, set that equals to let's say handle login. So let's create the function. Let's say cons handle login, set that equals to our function here. And for now I just want to say console.log. I'll log in. I'm logging. Yeah, I'm logging. So now let's let's save and let's try to see the console here. If I click, I'm logging. Okay, cool. So we don't need this console, of course. We need to import the login function from the Untitled folder. So you can say import login from /untils. Okay, you can specify the index, but if you just using index, you don't need to specify the name. So in here we need to run the login like so. Okay, so if I log in now, let's go to the application and local storage. As you can see, if I click login, now we have JWT and the value is login. Okay, do you see that? So in the dashboard, let's go to dashboard here. I'm gonna create button again, and let's say log out, and I want to import the logout function. Logout from /untils. Okay. I forget the name. Let's see. Logout. Yes. So in here, if the button is clicked, I want to run this function. On click, set that equals to say handle logout. Let's create the function up here. Let's say cons handle logout. Set that equals to arrow function. Arrow function, and I want to run the logout function here. Okay, so now if I save and let's go to the dashboard, if I click logout, now that's gone. Okay, cool, right? If I go to login, not login, I think sign in. If I click to login, we have the JWT and login. But in sign in here, if I click login, I want to the user is automatically go into the dashboard page. So we can say in here, we can use history from React Router DOM. We can say import use history from, let's say, from React Router DOM. So in here, let's invoke the use history in history variable. Set that equals to use history. Invoke this function, and inside the handle login, I want to say history dot push into the slash dashboard. Okay. If user click to login here, there's gonna be directly go to the dashboard. All right, so cool, right? And if user click to log out, I want to user directly go to the sign in. So again, we need to import a use history from React Router DOM, and let's create variable called history, set that equals to use history, invoke this function, and after they log out, I want to history dot push into slash sign in. Okay, so now let's try to see here. If I log out, we on the sign in and the key and value is empty here. If I click login, we on the dashboard and the GWT and the value is exists. Okay, so far so good. Now let's close this dashboard and sign in. I want to go to the private road here. So in here, I want to create RAFC, and let's say in here I want to import the isLogin. Import isLogin from the /untils, alright, which is this function here. It's going to be returned true if we have a value. It's going to be returned false if we don't have any value in the local storage, which is GWT value, right? So let's go in here. So in here, we need to import the route from React Router DOM, and we need to return in here the route. Let's say route So in here, we need to destructuring the component. So I can say component and change the name to component with capital C. And in app here, we don't need to use route anymore. We need to use route, private route, of course. Private route. If I click enter, now it's going to be automatically imported up here. Okay, if I save and go back to private route here. So now here we need to say render set that equals to, we grab the props and we need to returning the component here, but we need to check if isLogin, which is a function here, is true. That means if we log in, we need to render the component. Okay, so let's do component here, and we need to pass through the props, by the way. So props, and else if we not log in, of course it's not inside the component, but here if we not log in, we need to redirect. So we need to import the redirect function here. It's gonna be come from the React Router DOM redirect, and we need to put that in here, redirect, and I want to say to login, sign in, I think sign in. Okay, so now if I save, let's close this terminal here. Okay, so now if I save and if I log out, we don't have any value in local storage, right? If I access the dashboard now, with dashboard, we cannot access that. Okay, as you can see here, dashboard, if I click, no, we redirect into the sign in page. But if I click login, now we can access the dashboard. See, pretty cool. What else? I think we're done. We learned a lot, alright? We learned how to create private route. We learned how to use redirect component here, how to use link, I believe. I forget, right here. And we learned how to use history, use param, and use history as well. So yeah, I think we're done with this simple tutorial. I hope you learned something new, and I'm going to see you in the very next video, and bye.